Guys, it is new camera launch day. How freaking exciting. So today, Sony announced, well, last night, a new Sony successor to the RX1R Mark II. It is the Sony RX1R Mark III. Hooray! All the YouTubers, all the channels, everyone's talking. The internet is abuzz with comments about this new camera. Was it worth the wait? Well, I am one of the very few to actually have the brand new Sony A7R Mark III in my hands. Check out these photos. This is totally legit. This is the street edition, as you'll notice from the yellow demarcation where the name sits and on the top plate. Whew, fantastic. Okay, jokes aside, I don't want to appear as a trolling Sony for some innovative technology, but I think F-Stoppers did a really good job of explaining the difficulty in understanding the justification of this new camera purely based off the specs. So without flaming the camera straight away, because this is just a kind of launch notification, no one's really picked up the camera and reviewed it as such. I don't want to be negative towards it, but I'm interested by the fact that it has no IBIS, no flippy screen, no optical image stabilization. And where it's positioning itself in the market is a premium point and shoot camera like the Leica Q or the Q3 43, but that has optical image stabilization and that 61 megapixel sensor. It kind of works like this camera too, the Fuji GFX100RF. But this camera also doesn't have optical image stabilization, digital image stabe. At least it's got a flippy screen and 39 megapixels more resolution, medium format sensor. So I'm not trying to compare anything, but honestly, part of me is incredibly excited by it. But just like my little joke at the front shows, the Sony A7CR and the Sony A7C II are already this camera, but they've got a flippy screen and a similar sized body, similar sized, well, looking viewfinder and top plate. Yeah, I'd like the more clean, premium finish of the RX1R Mark III based off the videos, but it's really hard to figure out what it's doing differently than what the already fantastic Sony cameras are doing, especially with the one that I'm recording now, which is the Sony A7C II, which is a damn fantastic freaking camera. Albeit it overheats a little bit, so I had to put like a cooling vent on the back, and I had to put some attachments just to make it, to rig it out. But overall, this is a fairly small footprint. Let me show you, I'll take a picture, and you can have a look at what this looks like. It is fantastically small, this camera. There we go. I'll put this one online and in the video, and you can see that after I rig it out with the DJI Mic Mini with the Mishu adapter with an external battery running outside, it reduces the heat tremendously, and I'm recording at 4K 30. And I've got the fantastic lenses, which have not been added to this lens line, which is really disappointing from a Sony point of view, is the Sony FE 2.8 24G, not the G Master, the G lenses. These are these fantastic little portable, pocketable little primes. I absolutely love them. I've used them on so many different cameras. I even adapt these to my Nikon ZF. They are so fantastic. I now have lenses for the ZF system and other things, but I don't want to go into a rant to talk about other systems and other things like that. The purpose of this video is to talk about, have Sony missed a trick by, I guess, launching as good as the competition camera. When they're leading, they should have led and extended that reach a little bit more. Sure, the autofocus and the AI chip is fantastic, and that is the reason why I continue to use the Sony A7C II for video work, because it's just fantastically sticky, and that kind of autofocus jumping around and moving between objects is fantastic. But the Sony A7CR and the Sony A7C II are already doing that. Even the original Sony A7C Mark I has got a flippy screen and IBIS and all those other things. So if I'm buying a premium for, well, this everyday pocketable point and shoot, the Sony A7C line of cameras has been and kind of always will be the spiritual successor of the RX1R Mark II for me. And now that the Fuji GFX100RF is in my possession, I really am enjoying the insane dynamic range and capabilities of the pseudo medium format sensor. So in a way, I kind of have a wider focal length. Yeah, I got a slower f4 aperture. I don't have IBIS, which is the same. Well, I've got a flippy screen, and I've got amazing image quality. And it's cheaper. So I guess the point of the video is I really wanted to like this camera. This might end up being another scenario where I end up testing it, hiring it, and then actually liking it. But in the initial, well, my initial thoughts based on what everyone's saying and what I look of it, and it's kind of a confusing launch considering that the Sony A7C line of cameras exist and seem to have all of the capabilities of this new RX1R Mark III. If this camera came out 3 years ago, I would have been all over it. I wouldn't have had the Fuji GFX100RF. I wouldn't have changed to all the different systems. I think it's a good camera a few years ago for specs. Again, don't get me wrong. I'm talking pure spec level and initial review. It might be a completely different beast like the Fuji GFX100RF was. When I had that in hand, it was the lens, the compact nature, the build, the autofocus, and the image quality made that thing collectively a fantastic camera. Maybe this is the same with the Sony RX1R Mark III. Maybe it's the super great same 35mm lens, the same Sony A7R V sensor, and maybe it's the same ZV-E1 autofocus. And it's the combination of those three that make it an absolute killer camera. But again, it's a very difficult proposition for me as it stands, given the existence of the Sony A7C line. So yeah, don't want to rant. I think it's good as a community of creators, photographers, influencers, whatever you call yourselves. I think it's good that we all collectively come together to try and voice what we want. Because at the end of the day, we are professionals and consumers. And if we create demand, the product will exist. But if we jump onto certain things and support mediocrity, then it's not really going to progress our craft and our field, and it's just going to burn a big hole in our wallets. So the point of this video is not to flame Sony for what they've done. You have responded to a market need, and you've positioned it in a way cleverly that gives you profit margins in a similar way that Leica does, albeit with a camera that is on par but better in autofocus, similar in image quality performance, slightly different in focal length, and giving me a little bit more low light ability. So it's positioned well. I just think that some of those premiums, I think really why people are really kind of annoyed about this is a thumb grip and a lens hood, which can be bought from Taobao, Alibaba, or somewhere at your local camera store for $5. That's a bit of a rip-off. So don't go down the route of what some of these other brands are doing. And come on, let's support us, the creators. We're buying your gear. We want to keep buying it. We want to buy more of it. We just don't want to be ripped off one piece and then locked in, right? So I hope I haven't come across as too much of a rant, but it was too hard to resist given the imminent release of this camera and it just came out of nowhere. And it's a shame because it might be another case of the Mark I products are really not worth it. And when you go into the Generation 2s, that's really when the things start to kick off. Like, it's the same with anything really, from smartphones to cameras to computers. There are some outliers. Let's call Apple out for the M1 chip. The M1 chip is still better than everything else. not better, but it was in a level that was a new league of its own, and it's still great to this day. I'm still using one behind me, an M1 14-inch MacBook Pro. That's great. The iPhone, for example, is not the same. I've gone through all the different phones and jumped generations, incremental there. Sony went from the A7 series, which was a fantastic entry, and then they innovated in the kind of, I would say 2 to 3, the 3 range, started to get really amazing. And then it's the same with any system, really. Even Fuji and their X100 line. X100, innovation. The next versions, T, S, F, whatever, minimal upgrades. V was a damn good camera, jumped to an innovation because of IBIS and sensor. Is it truly innovation? Maybe not. But it seems as though that the product launches of today and into the future are built on incremental updates. So it's a good time to be analyzing whether we need more camera gear or if the gear that you have right now serves your purpose. And I know I was here at the start of the year and I was talking at this very same topic about resist the urge of gas. We do like cameras, we do love the craft. The combination of two things, tinkering, tech, understanding how it works, it's beautiful, right? But in this particular case, it might be a case of waiting for the Mark IV. I guess I have to wait another 10 years. Anyway, I hope it sheds a bit of perspective. I hope you had a bit of a laugh with my joke at the front. And I'm going to get back to creating a lot more and sharing more videos and really just enjoying the photography, whether it be street, macro, or just random photos. It's an outlet and I enjoy it. So I hope you do too. Cheers.